Wednesday's general session opened with Jim Mergliotta, Executive Vice President of Forest City Erectors. Jim brought his wealth of experience to the crowd and had a couple of reminders for them.
I learned real fast that you had to have real good equipment. Ironworkers are very innovative. Remember, they can always get the job done.
Next up on the morning lineup was an open forum on workers' comp. The discussion centered around issues familiar to the union ironworking industry, how to streamline the system, while making sure the injured worker gets the care and financial support he needs, and quickly.
These type of programs help injured workers get back to work. It helps our contractors reduce these unnecessary costs due to medical or unnecessary litigation, and it's a good program to help us address issues in the workers' compensation industry.
Voluntary collectively bargained comp can be a solution if the parties can come together and agree. And that's what we're working to do, to get both sides of the aisle and both sides of labor and management to really understand the issue and to find a better way to do this. And that's our objective.
Steve Parker and Steve Rank updated us on an oft-forgotten segment of the ironworking industry.
The ironworkers not only do structural steel work, they do reinforcing steel and post-tensioning work, and unfortunately the OSHA standards have not addressed many of the hazards and fatalities that have happened in the reinforcing industry. We are very pleased that our international organization and the coalition of industry stakeholders have drafted proposed language for the Department of Labor to use in rulemaking to institute new regulations. And all week long we've heard from owners, we've heard from contractors, we've heard from regulatory people that safety is first. And if we can't work safe, we can't work on their job sites.
James Maddox, OSHA's Directorate of Construction, stood behind the podium next. In OSHA's 40th year and in his first in this position, he focused on ways OSHA can improve, and that includes soliciting ideas. Reaching out to young members was the focus of another panel discussion of this third day. The point? Using the internet as the driving force to do so, such as Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, to funnel tomorrow's leaders to your local or national website. Finally, a little alphabet soup, and as the name would suggest, 3 unrelated but important presentations took us through the end of the morning.
Okay, back here in the conference office as things begin to wrap up with President Wise and Bill Brown. President Wise, with all the time and energy and money that goes into an event like this, what kind of things were you seeing or hearing that you're nodding to yourself and saying, you know, this is a worthwhile endeavor?
Well, obviously very beneficial both to the contractors and to our local unions and our organization. I think the biggest thing that stood out during this conference is the degree that the conversation, the dialogue was elevated. You could really see the trust building in the room. You could see the camaraderie. You could just see the common goals that we were working towards. And you saw a lot more relaxed atmosphere from not only the contractors and local unions, but also from the industry gentlemen we had, representatives we had here.
Every year I've been coming to these conferences, I get a little bit more, and it's very valuable. You know, if you could make it to the conferences, I recommend them.
Been a really good meeting. The workman's comp, the alternative dispute resolution, something I think we need to really be looking into more and more. We're at an unfair disadvantage as it is, and what these guys have been able to do and to help drive down that cost is something that we really need to be looking at.
Gives us a chance to not only sit down and listen to the dialogue and the presentations at the convention, but to sit down and share some bread and talk and really get to know each other and develop a relationship, a friendship, and a level of trust. So
expectations rise every year, and you always think going into the next one, how are we going to do better than we did last year? We did this year. We had more owners. We had some different owners. We had some of our old friends who had told some of the owners about what goes on here. We had more contractors. We had more participants this year than we had last year, which kind of surprised everybody given the current state of the economy. But it's one of those deals, you talk to some of these people out in the hallway between sessions, it's, well, how can you afford to take the time to be here? And the answer overwhelmingly is, I can't afford not to be here.
I'm real enthused about the direction that we're trying to not only network and get our message out, but overall it was the best impact meeting yet, so I'm looking forward to next year's.
I like the breakout sessions. I learned a lot from them. about the training and this and that. You know, we've got to educate to gain market shares.
What about you?
Yeah, it's the same deal. The educational part's what we need. All of us need it. These conferences always do a good job of that.
Well, I've met a lot of good people here, a lot of contractors, so I think it's good that we all get together and have these meetings. I think our members are going to benefit from these contacts I've made with some of these contractors from other locals.
I think one of the things that is coming out of this is to be more engaged, maybe on a local basis with your people around the country.
Oh, without a doubt. I think there's already been some schedules made between industry representatives and also our apprenticeship program, so they can see firsthand what we offer. One of the other great benefits that came is we saw a lot of business managers from a lot of different locals and contractors from not necessarily in their own regions talking to each other about trying to bring them into their regions what they had to offer.
Several things we'll take away from this, as we do every conference. You know, they're all very beneficial to all the locals, but I've really got enlightened today on the need for Facebook and Twitter and some other things to reach out and grab some younger members with.
Well, each year it gets better and better, I'll tell you. I'm just really, I couldn't be happier. I think each year the content gets better, the more people show up, and it's really starting to take hold. And it's surprising in this economy, so I just can't imagine it doing anything but growing from here.
The basic purposes behind Impact are very important, and it truly the recognition that there's a symbiotic relationship between the employers and employees is really at the crux of our future.
President Wise, you opened up the conference saying doubling the market in 10 years. Is that the message as everybody spreads out from this conference now?
Well, that's the message, and that's the minimum. I think we have a great potential to do far better than that. And I think when you see the greater communication we have, not only with the different industries and all that, communication translates to what their plans are. When we know what their plans are, we can grow in preparation for it.
Are you ready to go with that same mantra, Bill, from the contractor side?
We're going to set a very high benchmark, and just as this industry has done in the past, we're going to meet or exceed those goals. And so it started here today.
So as the conference begins to wind down and wraps up here in Orlando, the leadership leaves you with that, a challenge, and once again leaves it open for your opportunity to reach that goal, one I'm sure you all will. For our entire team here in Orlando this week, thank you for your time and attention here on Channel 14. But the conference isn't over yet. Still a half day to go. Here's that schedule. We'll see y'all next year.